What's up again, everybody? Let's jump into some gameplay commentary. Before we do, just so you know, these are teams built within the global escalation format, which is a golden age format with a very specific ban list of any cards that were on winning or top 2 teams in a specific set of nationals and worlds tournaments. I think it's like 16 to 18, 2016 to 2018. Any cards that were on those teams are disallowed as long as they did not have globals. If they had a global, then they can stick around, so your PXGs and stuff like that that were on those powerful top teams, those are still eligible, but anything that did not have a global and was on one of those teams is cut. Understanding that, let's talk about the teams that we both ran. I ran a team that I saw Zach Pope play that I had considered, but I didn't put some of the pieces that he did on, and I love the pieces that he did, so shout out to Zach over on the Dice Masters with James and Zach YouTube channel. Go and check out his videos. He played this team a lot in the most recent tournament that was held at the beginning of the year. Obviously, with it being Golden Age, it has a little bit more open on it that can be shifted and changed around. So this team centers around Rare Surtur, which has this amazing ability that says when Surtur KOs an opposing character die, KO all opposing character dice. If you combine him with the Venerable Dreadnought, which gives Surtur range 1, and then use Surtur's range damage to KO something like a sidekick, then because he met that requirement that KOs something on the board, the entire board of your opponents is now KO'd. And even cooler still, if you put Storm Boy's Chop a Storm on your team, when your opponent wants to attack with something, you can pay the Bolt Global, giving something on their team range 1, which would trigger your Venerable Dreadnought and all of your character's range abilities, thus again giving you the ability to ping something off with Surtur and wipe their board before they go to the attack step. Now, I did put this team together pretty quickly, and so there were a few things that I missed, namely Black Widow Widow's Bite. You want this card on your team because you want to pay a fist to force one of your opponent's characters to attack, which you can then give the range 1 keyword to. I also included Foot Ninja Syndicate because this is sort of a flex spot, and I like this card in a Golden Age meta where a lot of people seem to want to use things like Instant War, and just because sidekick fielding is pretty strong, this is going to get a buff from both players' sidekick fields. The rest of this team is pretty straightforward. We've got Insect Plague that pairs with Foot Ninja for the unblockable global. We've got Instant War ourselves. We've got Kree Captain Lost Purpose, Yarn Bjorn for fixing for that second fist for the global on Kree Captain, Professor X because it's awesome ramp and it helps you get to that 7-drop Surtur. And then where I should have included Black Widow, the Widow's Bite, I put Ronin and then swapped that out in the following game. But of course in this game I kept it as was. Ben is running a team that I have personally been trying to make work for like a month and a half. Now, I hadn't done it in Golden Age, I'd only done it in Modern Age, but this is a team that centers around Lord of Contagion. And this Lord of Contagion says whenever a sidekick is KO'd, and that's either players, every character die on the field gets a 1/1 buff. And so the goal with this team would be to get your opponent to field a bunch of sidekicks using Instant War, and then KOing all of their sidekicks, giving you a board advantage using the when KO'd ability on Grey Hunter, obviously using super rare Malekith to KO Grey Hunter. At which point, if you remove 3 of their sidekicks, all of your stuff gets a 3/3 buff. This can also be combined with the Staff of the Forgotten One, because if you play the Staff of the Forgotten One and then KO Grey Hunter, that 1 damage is going to wipe their board completely, giving you a board advantage 100%, and then being able to just push in for something around like 25 damage, which is pretty sweet. All right, let's jump into the game. We roll off to see who goes first. I win the roll off and then stupidly elect to go first, meaning that I'm rolling 3 dice and I have exactly 2 3-drops, 0 2-drops, and I want a PXG on turn 1. So it's a very poor idea to go first in a PXG era matchup, because here I am sitting with 3 energy, shield, 2 shields, and a question mark. I look back over to his screen to try and figure out if there are any globals that I can use to spend something essentially, and then just waste the turn saving the question mark as a mask for PXG, because obviously PXG on turn 1 is extremely powerful. That's what you want to do. The other option here is to reroll both of these for a sidekick and then to KO it with Malekith, because my opponent brought super rare Malekith. I get I get another question mark and then a mask, so I don't have any way to spend anything and then purchase something. Again, this is a good reason why Ronin should be off the team and a 2-drop Black Widow should be on the team, because then I can at least buy a 2-drop Black Widow and then PXG once if I end up having to go first. But the main problem here was that I elected to go first instead of second. Going second means I have 4 dice, means I can pick up something, and then PXG once at the very least, if I can't roll a sidekick and use my opponent's Malekith Global. So here we pay 3, and we pick up a Foot Ninja. Pass over to Ben. Ben's going to roll up and going to roll a sidekick, a question mark, and 2 shields. Apologies for the picture. Our connection was not very strong. It goes in and out during this game and the other game. But these are both some interesting games, and so I'll talk you through what happens. He rolls a sidekick and a bolt, a shield, and a question mark. So he's got a couple of lines of play he can do here. He can field the sidekick and pay the bolt and KO the sidekick. Looks like that's what he is doing. In order to pick up an instant war, that's what he goes ahead and picks up. He could also pick up a Staff of the Forgotten One if he pays a fist, but he did not have a fist, he had a shield, and he wants to save that mask for PXG. Here we want to basically just roll for PXG. There's not much we want to buy. We want to just ramp as many dice as we possibly can, because buying Surtur is difficult. Paying 7 for anything in this game is difficult. So we want to roll and get as many sidekicks on the mask face as possible. We only get 1, so it's not looking good for us picking up a Surtur anytime soon, but we can, with this roll, buy a Venerable Dreadnought, because we could pay the 2 fists and use the global on Kree Captain, and then pick up the Dreadnought for 1, because that cost reduction effect on Kree Captain reduces it by 3. And that's exactly what we do. Pass over to Ben. Ben's got a question mark. He's obviously going to PXG here. Makes the most sense, taking over those 2 dice. Then he'll roll 7 dice on turn 2, which is awesome. So picking up and rolling 7 dice, getting a bunch of different types of energy. It's got a mask, a question mark, a bolt, a bolt, a bolt, 2 shields. Gonna keep the bolt, the question mark, and the mask. Gonna reroll and get a bunch of sidekicks, which isn't optimal. Here you kind of want to pick up the combo pieces, because that's the whole point. He's got 1 combo piece in Instant War. You probably want to pick up like a Staff and a Gray Hunter, which would both be good. Gonna field 2 sidekicks. He can fix one of those to a fist, because I did bring a fist fixer. He can also just pick up a Staff. You can't quite do everything though, because you also want to spend a mask plus an energy to pick up a Gray Hunter. Fixing it to a fist means that you can get a Gray Hunter and a Staff of the Forgotten One, but you don't have a perfect bag, because you use one of the masks down there that he's earmarked for PXG to buy the Gray Hunter, which means you have 5 going in the bag. You have everything that you spend plus 1 PXG. Pulls some of those sidekick dice out. You end up with the Instant War there, a sidekick, 2 sidekicks, excuse me, a Staff of the Forgotten One, and a Gray Hunter, meaning you have 5 dice go in and they don't line up. If you pull 2 sidekicks, then you don't get to roll the Instant War with the Gray Hunter and the Staff. Not that you necessarily need the combo now, because you don't have Lord of Contagion. So he steps back, chooses not to spin the sidekick down to a fist, and looks like he's going to buy... Oh, he's going to hard buy something? I forgot what he buys here. Let's see. Just pay the 3 for a Staff of the Forgotten One makes some sense. No, he is going to spin down. Pay 4 and pick up the Lord of Contagion first. Hard buying for 4 and then saving the 2 masks so you can prep over those. It's going to be an imperfect bag still, which is a bit unfortunate. But it is what it is. So we pull the Venerable Dreadnought and 3 sidekicks, roll it up. Dreadnought comes out. Let's see what else we got. Looks like he's out on the 4-6 side. Sidekick plus 3 energy, 2 fists, and a bolt. The sidekick is good because we do have a Foot Ninja in the bag. Plus it's good to have a character out there because it's getting the range 1 keyword. The rest of this energy is fairly inconsequential. Probably want to just roll stuff for masks. Need something to pay to field, obviously. Yeah, re-rolling the 2 fists, hoping for masks, and wow, that's a good roll. Get a mask and a question mark. Field the sidekick, field the Venerable Dreadnought, paying the 1. So you've got the 1, 4, 6 side. And then the question is, do we want to ping out his sidekick, or do we want to save the bolt and ping it out on his turn? If he rolls Lord of Contagion, then pinging it out on his turn means everything on the field will get a +1/+1 buff, which is actually not bad if he doesn't, assemble the combo all next turn, which he can't because he hasn't bought the Grey Hunter. If we ping off his sidekick without him pinging off our sidekick or anything like that, then we keep our sidekick a little bit more safe. Pinging it off now means he rolls it as energy next turn, which is something we probably don't want to give him.
And you just don't have general glory.
So it's probably just better to pass here. Save the 2 masks for PXG, let him PXG a bunch, and have 5 dice in his used pile.
I could missile something.
Other option is pinging off our own sidekick, but that does not seem very prudent at all.
I'll just end turn.
Yep, we're just going to end the turn. He's going to, well, we're not going to end the turn. We're going to pass priority, of course. He's going to PXG twice, and then he's going to have 5 dice go in the bag. Drawing, and let's see what he draws. Lord of Contagion plus Instant War plus 2 sidekicks. So several of the pieces assembled. He is going to roll the Instant War as well. Let's see if he keeps the Instant War. He's got the 3/4 Lord of Contagion, 1 sidekick in the field. 2 masks, a question mark, double fist, and a shield. So obviously going to pay something to field that Lord of Contagion, most likely just a shield or a fist. Him playing Instant War here means he is going to pull 1 sidekick from his bag and field it. It will make me pull sidekicks from my bag as well. And I think it messes up my used pile too. So he's going to pay 2 for the Grey Hunter, which is a tough buy when you're trying to maintain PXG ramp, but this is the time to do it when you've rolled 3 other masks. Paying a bolt, most likely to field the Lord of Contagion is what I would guess. Yep, looks like he pays the bolt to field Lord of Contagion on the 3/4 side. Plays Instant War, and that's going to draw him and me some sidekicks. He gets 1, and he preps the Grey Hunter, which is nice because that effect asks you to draw 3 dice, and he draws 1 from the bag, looks in his bag for 2 more, can't find it, so he goes and pulls a die from used and puts it in. And obviously that won't come out because it's Grey Hunter. I ping off his sidekick with my bolt, and then I PXG twice. So then I draw and roll. He doesn't attack, obviously. Draw and roll the dice remaining in the used pile plus the Foot Ninja. And this is a weird situation because with the 3 sidekicks that he gave me from the pull on Instant War, plus this Foot Ninja, and with the Lord of Contagion being a symmetric effect and him having a single sidekick, I can actually just field the Foot Ninja, ping off his sidekick, giving all of my stuff +1 attack and +1 defense, making all my sidekicks 2/2s, making my 4/6 a 5/7 Venerable Dreadnought, making my Foot Ninja insane, I think a 7/7. And then when I push with everything, all of their range will trigger. Even if I push with one of them, all their range would trigger. Killing his only blocker, and then dealing 7 + 5 + 8, meaning it's lethal. In this exact moment, we have exact lethal.
And I'll pass priority to you.
Which is pretty hilarious. And this is the issue that you run up against when you're playing Lord of Contagion. And when I say you, I should mean me. I've run up against this so many times playing Lord of Contagion against exactly Ben that I know exactly what this feels like. This moment where you go, wait a minute, I'm literally just dead in this exact moment because I roll this here and just the game is over. because Lord of Contagion is out just too early in this team. And that's the issue that I found with the team, is that you just get Lord of Contagion out first or second, and your opponent can just use it against you because it is a symmetric effect. And so we talk about this a little bit more after this, because all I have to do here is just push lethal.
Because this will be
And it's just going to pop everything.
8, 9.
Counting it up, that's 7 plus 5 plus 8 from the sidekicks. And he has 2 bolts
Well, you ping.
with the question marks. So if he pings off with those 2 bolts, one of my sidekicks, because my sidekicks are 2/2s, it doesn't matter, because everything again would then get a +1/+1 buff, because the Lord of Contagion is still active. So he PXGs and doesn't, do anything, because I passed priority to him, see if he wanted to ping off, and then just push for the lethal for 20. It's just like game over right there. It's like turn 5 or whatever. So that's game 1. After game 1, we talked about it and talked about what I've experienced with Lord of Contagion and why it's best to buy him late rather than early. And Ben concurred, and then we played game number 2 after I switched off Ronin for Black Widow as well. So let's hop into game 2 and see how that one plays out.